We were at the table and I was just like, Ben, I wish God would just make it so obvious. And I wish he would just tell us what to do. And in that same breath, I grabbed my phone and I just checked my email. And there was an email from our social worker. And in the email title, it was Little Boy. It was a legacy started by my grandpa. I mean, I've got like 2 adopted uncles, like all of my aunts have adopted. And I think it was just a seed that God planted in my heart from like as a little girl.
Whenever I met Kirsten, that was maybe on my radar, just the fact that there are kids who don't have families and that need families. But then meeting Kirsten and seeing that as a part of her family and hearing her heart for it, I think that kind of stoked something that God was already working.
And I just remember like going into his office in there and I was just like, Ben, I think it's time to start paperwork. And he just turned around and he's like, all right. And then our agency also had something called a special focus list, and that's moderate to more severe multiple special needs. And I just remember just feeling led just to look on that list, and I saw his little picture there and I was like, I think that's our little boy. And so we inquired and they sent us his file, and it just kind of set that trajectory of no fear, and here we go.
And then I remember them bringing our now oldest Joe out, and I remember what he's wearing, his little jumpsuit, and just being so nervous. But I think it was a miracle of God for our hearts to just be like, oh, let's go. This is our kiddo. Whenever we adopted Evelyn, that was another step as it pertains to like health and special needs, and she had cancer. One felt like a holy calling to pursue this little girl's heart and to love her well.
Throughout the process, I just had this, it's one of those things where I feel like with each child, God would give us this really sweet reassurance to be like, I've got this. And this was Chung, and I had this name, Danny, and that would just circulate in my head. We were at the table and I was just like, Ben, I wish God would just make it so obvious. And I wish he would just tell us what to do. And in that same breath, I grabbed my phone and there was an email from our social worker. In the email title, it was Little Boy. And I was like, So we opened it up and it was just like, hey, Ben and Kirsten, this little boy's file came across my desk and I thought of you and only you guys. He has a significant heart issue. Would you like to see his file? And we're like, yes, of course. And so the next morning, I got the file and I opened it up, and the English, like the name, they always like assign them a name. It was Danny. And at that point I was like, okay, yes, we want to pursue this. Like, let's go.
Chung has a much more significant health condition than the other 2. 13 heart anomalies, very complex heart condition.
I think we just had such a clear, you can read this file and you can read about all of these conditions, the prognosis, the what ifs, the everything, but it's like behind this piece of paper is God's beloved child.
We applied for the Show Hope grant and didn't know that was even a possibility until they're like, hey, we just want to tell you you've been awarded a grant, and we've also worked with the Tim Tebow Foundation. To know that behind that grant are a group of people who also care about this, and the way that they've decided that they're going to show their care and support is to give to something like this. It is an encouragement for us to keep going.
It's easy to look at, stories like us and you see the surface level of it, but it is hard, just this understanding of we're not doing this alone either, and that there is a group of people we probably won't ever meet, but Chung is under our roof and in our family because of that, generosity and that faithfulness in giving.
It feels like an exercise of a great cloud of witnesses saying, keep running the race. So we're really thankful for the Adoption Aid grant because it was a keep going, keep pursuing, keep trusting.
each of our kids have had to go through so much, and they've had to have like so much courage, and they've had to fight so hard for like their life. And it's like, why would we not match that and pursue that and walk into that with them and hold their hands through that and carry them through that?
I hope that one of the things that we can instill and disciple into them is they are not alone. That all the awful, hard things that are very, 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 very true about their story, we have a Savior who will come and make those things untrue. He's going to make all things new again. And it's been God leading us to these 3 kids that's grown our faith in a way.